Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Zahra and my topic is disk dashboard and tools. So my first question to you guys is anyone here familiar with the Indigo Disk survey, or did you have to take the survey? Okay, so I'm guessing that most of us have already taken the survey or at least plan to take it right after this presentation. So if you have no idea of what DISC is about or what my project is about, you're in the right place, because I believe that after this presentation, you'll have a better understanding of what this project is about. So first of all, what is DISC? So the Indigo DISC assessment measures behaviors according to the DISC system, which pretty much divides behavior types into four basic groups. You have the dominance, the influencing, the steadiness, and you have the compliant. So this first came to prominence in the military. It was widely used in the recruitment process during the, like in the army, leading to the years of the Second World War. So in 1940, Walter Clark took the theory of William Moulton Marston and developed the first DISC personality. So that's the gentleman you see in front of you right now. So about my project. So do you remember when you were in the boot camp and you had to create groups? So my experience was, it was very chaotic and it was risky because I had to team up with people that I did not know. The only thing I knew about them was pretty much their names and the time zones. So imagine now having all that automated. So I pretty much created an algorithm that takes individuals and it compares their discourse and groups them based on how well they're going to work together. So the platinum rule, there's a platinum rule, the saying goes, treat others the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. So DISC profiles pretty much describes human behavior in various situations. For example, the way you respond to challenges, how you influence other people, and how you respond to rules and procedures. It measures the tendencies and preferences of the patterns of your behavior with no judgment regarding the value or alignment of your job classification. And then, so pretty much, I'll talk about the different types of personalities. So there's a high D. So the high Ds, they're very dominant. So they have high confidence and they're self-motivated. They're also comfortable with taking risk. So they like to focus on the big picture rather than the details. So people who have high Ds are usually frequently found in leadership roles. Then you have your high Is. So your high Is, they're the influencers. So they are very extroverted and outgoing, also people oriented. So they tend to be very inspiring, impressionable, interactive, and involved. They're typically vocal and animated, and they like to engage others in conversations. So if you have a high I in your team, try to ask them how their day is going. Try to know about them. That helps work better with a high I. In the case of a high D, just go straight to the point. Don't try to start conversations. And then there's the high S. So the high S, they're easily overlooked because they're often the quiet ones. They don't speak up or attract attention. So they're not compelled to make decisions. Instead, they rather go with everyone's decisions just because they want to minimize conflict. So they're people oriented and prefer being in relaxed environment. So if you have a high S in your team, try to, have one-on-one conversations with them because this helps communicate with a high S. And then you have your high Cs. So your high Cs, they're reserved and they're task oriented. They make decisions slowly, only after careful considerations and implications. So while the high Cs are reserved, they tend to act with purpose and focus when they're making decisions. So in a way, the high Cs can sometimes be confused with a high D. So I would like to move on to my dashboard. So here's my dashboard. Like if you look at the top left, you would see the top right, I mean, you would see the different personality types. This is based on the boot camp only. So we can see that the S, there's more people that are S people because they tend to gravitate more towards the program, while the D gravitate least towards the program. That's because they like high drama environment, and the IT field is not usually for a high D. So when you move on to the left side of the screen, my KPIs are student count. So this pretty much counts the students. And then the class completion percentage is a percentage of the completion rate based on the 27 sections that are in the boot camp. Then there's the sections completed, which is pretty much the count of the sections. So there you have the satisfaction percentage. So this is pretty much the surveys we all had to take when we completed each section in the boot camp. And then you have your efficiency rating, which pretty much tracks how well you're working and how much your assignments you're submitting. So we pretty much saw this when we were in the boot camp, like you would see it in your CRM, your efficiency rating. I know I track mine all the time. So we also have the homework score, which is just a percentage of the homework score. So over here, you can see group success rate and disc averages. So here I have 5 classes. Some of them are data analyst classes and some of them are data science classes. So it is sorted by class completion rate, meaning that the data, the December 4th batch has, well, a higher completion rate. So this order chart is the KPI changes for disc. It is a tree map that populates based on my selection. And then there's a class completion and satisfaction rate. So this scatter plot has the class completion. So the further you move to the right, that's your class completion. And the upper you go is your satisfaction level. So these are the classes that are in the scatter plot. So for the sake of this presentation, I would like to base my analysis on the December 4th class since it has the highest completion rate. So when I click on the December 4th class, you will see that there's a few changes in the KPIs. So the numbers in red pretty much shows everything that decreased, and the numbers in green are everything that increased. So when you look at this chart right here, you can see that class completion, section completed, and homework score have all increased for this particular class. But then their satisfaction and their efficiency rating went down. And if I pretty much go to my detail page, here we can see that this class had 8 groups. So I had a maximum of 4 people for each group. So it's also sorted in the same way. So if I click on group 1, we can see the people that were in group 1 or are in group 1. So we can see that 2 of the people in group 1 have actually completed the class. They have 100% completion rate, and the other 2 are working towards completing the class. So here is just their homework scores, and the lines represent their disc scores. And over here is their efficiency rating. So when I drill up and go to group 8 of the same class, it's a different case. So over here, we can see that none of the people in this group have completed the program yet. And well, their efficiency rating and their homework scores are above average, so it's pretty good. But then when you look over here, the efficiency rating, this individual right here, like their efficiency rating is pretty much non-existent. So which means, and their completion rate is only 3.7%, which means that most likely they quit the program. So if I, so the top KPIs, they're all clickable. So if I was to filter on the compliant people, you could see that they do really well in the bootcamp. So this is their forte. You can see that all the numbers are up. And so when I go to the steadiness group, you could see that more people that are steady, that are steadiness behavioral type gravitate more towards the program. So we have a lot of them in the program, but then, they may struggle in the first part of the program. And then when it comes to the high I's, those are your influencers. They pretty much struggle in the first part of the program. This may be because, they're trying to get used to the Colaberry way of life. They're very social, and they still want to maintain the social relationships, like with their family and their friends on social media. So they struggle with this part of the program. But then once they move on to IPBC and CAP, that's when they start to do well, because there they have to create videos, they have to create, go on interviews, and their influencer skills make them help them in that sense. So with the dominance type, so they do take pride in their work. So that's why they do well in their homework and efficiency rating. And also what they always like to complete things that they started. So this is pretty much it for my dashboard. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.